Hello and welcome back to Raccoon Racing Productions with the open broadcast sessions in Automobilista 2. Today we are at Watkins Glen in the Super V8 cars with Randy Savage leading the pack with an outstanding lap. The Goose is loose in second, Marias in third, Johnny in fourth, 1970 in fifth, Sebitron sixth, Nobia seventh, Chai Guy 8, Skittles ninth, Ruber 10th, followed by Guzzler, Sigil 6, Maddie, Appaloosa, Serial Chilla, Sarah, Microtron, Steam Dwarf, Jose, Enzo, Noi, Lavara, Persona, and Nike, Dongo, Jukas, Technology, and Brun in the back of the pack. Hopefully our drivers go ahead and hit that ready button, otherwise they will be disqualified from the race. Jukas needing to ready up soon. And we're going to be going ahead and getting into the race now. As we get started on the monitor view, let's go ahead and quickly get to the front of the pack as we get our map and speedometer on track. Let's go ahead and get into this race. The lights will be turning green any moment now. Looks like we're currently waiting for the game to sync. Here we go. And it's lights out as our drivers... Oh no, not the camera. That's going to be the chaos of these open races, but Randy getting a wonderful jump at the start. The Goose is loose, being chased down by Passos and Marias as we enter into turn one. If the drivers are knowing about this track well, they'll know that that runoff area is fair game up until the red barrier on the left side of the track. We have some drivers going off the back as we expect from our open lobbies in turn one. What is it if it's not sim racing with a turn one incident? I apologize again for the game freaking out. I'm not too sure why we're having that happen. As we get on board, Randy leading the pack into the bus stop chicane. Passos behind with Goose is loose chasing on the rear end. Marias not too far behind, but Ruber being the one broken off from the rest of the pack, creating a pack of his own with 70 behind him, Chai Guy and Serial Chilla. Randy Savage putting it down into the boot of the track. Here he comes down to the bottom of it. Passos not far behind, but Marias really attacking. The Goose is loose down there in the third and fourth positions. As we make our way back up the hill now, they're still holding strong where they're at. And behind, we still see that Chai Guy is leading the second pack with Ruber in 1970 right behind him and Serial Chiller chasing the rear end. And that's going to be Marias going off. No, I'm sorry, the Goose is loose, is off, going into the fourth position. It's okay though, we still have the start of this race. It's only lap one. Oh no, he's spun out. That's going to be damage to his rear end possibly. As other cars come around, he's going to have trouble getting back onto the track as we see him drop down all the way to 8th position at the moment. 9th, 10th. That's going to be unfortunate for the Goose is loose after winning the previous session. I'm sure he was running on a high. Randy leading lap one into lap two though, not holding back with Passos on his tail and Marias being the one to lead out the front runners. And that's going to be a spin on the curb from Randy, nearly hitting the other cars, and that's going to be contact as well. That's going to be damage to Marias and Randy. We see that bumper starting to hang off as Chai Guy is coming in from the behind. Looks like he is going to retire possibly from this race. That's a lot of damage for him. And that is going to be a retirement from Randy. Let me go ahead and give our drivers a reminder. Let's not do that. Broadcasting on Twitch. And as we get back into it, we see that Passos now is going to be leading the pack with Marias chasing him from behind. Chai Guy needing to build up some pace to get up to them with 1970 behind him. And then we have the rest of the pack chasing with Guzzler being chased down by Sigil 6. And it looks like he's not too far from Bonobius as well, leading the middle of our pack as they go over the bus stop chicane. Our drivers in the front are going down into the boot of the track. Not too close to each other yet, as this seems to be the closest gap we're seeing on the track so far. Nobius attempting to chase down Sigil 6, and the Sigil 6 doing the same with Guzzler. And that's going to be a spin from Nobius into the wall, breaking his rear end. And it looks like there is some tire damage on that rear end as well. I don't think he's going to be able to drive that car very easily. It's going to be unfortunate. These cars are not easy. You have to maintain that throttle. And it looks like Microtron unfortunately got disconnected before the start of the race. He's going to take a lunch break. It's understandable. I'm starting to get a little hungry myself. As we go into these last sessions of tonight, we will have this race and one more to finalize the night. Passos leading strong now with a 5-second gap. Has to make sure he doesn't spin out though as they enter that steep turn 1 entry. These cars can definitely brake. Ooh, and it sounds like the Goose is Loose had some serious damage to where he has 100 seconds in the pit, as well as it looks like Vara there right in front of him. And we do see one of our retired cars there. That is going to be the car of me, the commentator, Raccoon Racing, bringing you this live on twitch.tv, featuring Automobilista 2 open lobbies. Anybody can join, anybody can race, anything can happen. All support that happens in the live stream on Twitch goes directly back into Raccoon Racing Productions leagues, such as the Desert Rats Racing League and Twin Snakes Racing League events. This allows our wonderful, talented drivers to have the opportunity to win prizes while having a free entry to the race. We do appreciate any of the support, whether it's a follow, a Prime subscription, or even a proper subscription. All are welcome. We do appreciate the support for our drivers and our leagues. And coming down now, Passos leading with an 8-second gap now. Insane. It's going to be a challenge to see what happens in the next part of these races. But it looks like Chai Guy might have some issues coming from behind, with 1970 only being about 3 seconds off of him. We've seen in these cars that it's very easy to lose that pace. We're already down from 30 drivers to 13 in the first 3 laps. That is going to be a sign of how strong these cars can be with the power in that rear end. It's hard to keep it straight on the track, especially when you're trying to go fast and race at the same time. And it looks like Passos actually had an incident that allowed Marias to pass him. It's going to give us an opportunity to watch a race at the start, although it looks like Passos is going to be taking a pit entry. It looks like he has damage to the right end of his car. I see it leaning and wobbling. But that's going to give Marias the chance to take the pole position at the moment, as we're only 4 laps into our race with 19 minutes to go. Chai Guy chasing down behind with 4 seconds, and 1970 only 3 seconds behind him. It is intense today. But the day ends as the night comes. The drivers with headlights should be turning them on here soon, but some of them might have damage on them as we look at the front of Marias' car. It's not the most clean looking. But they're coming down the back stretch towards the bus chicane. Chai Guy flying in with 1970 not too far behind him. That's a great place to be able to make time or lose time. Looks like technology getting a little mouthy in the chat. But from what I've seen, it seems like he's just being a little bit sarcastic, so we're not going to put any mind to it. But at least the Goose is Loose is still on the track, making his way back up. When this safety car comes out, he is going to be able to make an attempt towards the front. At this point, he has nothing to lose. He's already gained enough paces from the start of the race with all those drivers disconnecting. There's no shame in finishing the back when everybody else has retired. As we take a look at the timings, the board is pretty spread out at the moment, but not enough that things aren't uninteresting yet. Marias being chased down by Chai Guy. He could make up this time, but 1970 is not too far behind as they make their way past a back marker. I'm not too sure who that was, as their number gets overshadowed on the track map. It looks like they're flying down in 3rd position to pass the back marker. It's going to be the back marker of number 9's position, Brunna. Number 10 as well. But as our front runners keep going, the pace is there for Chai Guy and Marias, it looks like, as they make their way up the uphill to the top of the boot. They come down towards the bus stop chicane in that long straight section. Sebitron has retired from the race now. Noi being gone as well. We're down to 11 drivers, almost down to the single digits. Brun having a difficult time with the car as well. These are not easy cars. They are fun, but they are a challenge. But Marias and Chai Guy putting the challenge to the test as they make their way down to the bottom of the boot here at Watkins Glen in Automobilista 2. And as we enter into lap 5 coming to an end, we have 15 minutes left on the clock, so we should be seeing that safety car coming out soon. 1970 needs to make a little bit of pace, but Shy Guy has been putting down the pedal to the metal of his car. As he makes his way down the straight, chasing after Shy Guy, we see the time slowly dwindling away in that gap. Passos also about to have a challenge from Guzzler there in positions 4 and 5. Here they come into the uphill as they make their way towards the back straight, towards the bus stop chicane. Might have an opportunity to pass with the draft. The Goose Sluice seems to be retiring. He says he needs to sleep, which is understandable. It is late here in Arizona. We are at 8:45 o'clock at night, which means for those East Coasters, it is going to be closer to 11:45 p.m. We appreciate him coming out tonight, putting his best to the races, taking a victory even in the public open races. That's never the easiest thing to do with all the chaos that ensues. We also appreciate the Twitch Prime subscription that he gave us today, being essentially a sponsor of these races. We give him a shout out. If you ever want to see what he's doing, go ahead and check out the Ope Racing League sometime in Automobilista 2. They host plenty of open practice sessions throughout the week for their leagues. And then, oh, that's going to be a spin out from Shy Guy. That's unfortunate after making the pass earlier against Marias. That's going to give him an opportunity to get into first place for Marias, but he is being chased down by 1970, who will have that draft. If he can keep it clean through these turns, he definitely has a chance at the first place restart. As they make their way towards the last 2 turns of Watkins Glen, they will be approaching some back markers, which could provide some issues as they make their way back towards the turn 1. And it doesn't seem like he kept enough pace to be in the draft. He's not really gaining much more than a tenth, if not even half a tenth here. Draft now, coming down towards Marias. 1970 could make an attempt on the bus stop chicane, but it looks like he may have turned a little too early, not quite keeping his speed through there. But as they enter in towards the bottom of the boot with the knee, he might have a chance to get more speed into this exit. Looks like he's able to get another tenth off of Marias in the front. They'll need to go right nice and tight onto this entry and then work their way up to the exit of the straight. He needs to be in that draft to make the most of it. It looks like he did. The tenths are going back down again. He needs to get it down to 6 tenths. And he has. He's getting it down closer to 5 tenths with every single turn. Looks like he may be braking a little too early as he's losing pace at the entry of the turns. He has a chance. The safety car should be coming out here soon, and it looks like that is going to be the marker for the safety car. We will be right back with the commentary. looks like that should be our safety car possibly coming in now, as 1970 is going to lead our pack on the restart. There it is. The safety car is coming in. The lights will be coming out here shortly. And there we go. 1970 leading the pack in the charge with Chai Guy right behind him. Marias leading in third for those podium positions. But it looks like Passos has passed him. As we enter into turn one, these cars are going to be going wild here at Watkins Glen on the restart. We see them using that width of the track that is within track limits here in Automobilista 2, as long as you return to the track before the red barrier on the left-hand side of the track. 1970 flying down into the back straight towards the bus stop chicane. Chai Guy flying behind with only a half-second gap between them, and Passos doing the same behind. Marias needs to pick up a little bit of pace with Serial, Chiller, and Guzzler racing. Oh no, and that looks like Chai Guy went off into the track. No, Passos. That's going to be tragic for Passos tonight here at Watkins Glen, as 1970 leads the pack with Chai Guy still chasing him right behind. Marias not too far either, with that 3-second gap to be made towards the front of the race. They make their way towards the bottom of the boot as they'll begin making their way back up the hill of Watkins Glen. .1970 still having a beautiful lead here with a second gap, but the draft will kick in for Chai Guy, as you can see that slowly dwindling away towards less than a second. But the entry from 1970 allows him to stay ahead in that gap, building up another 2.5, almost a quarter of a second. If he can keep up this pace, he definitely can win this race tonight. The pack stays close together. Only 3 seconds at the most, breaking up the top 3 positions as we see Marias go wide into the last 2 turns of Watkins Glen. They enter into the straight towards the checker line. Into turn 1, let's see who decides to use the width of that track as we go follow Chai Guy now. Everybody staying conservative on the curb as we go into the uphill. Hopefully we see that beautiful camera shot. Here it is as they come roaring down into the back straight. Looks like Chai Guy might get overtaken here by Marias. He does have the inside of the boot. That's going to be sketchy, but we'll see how they make it through. They play it safe. Chai Guy. Oh, that is not Marias. Who is that? Is that a back marker? I've been mislabeling. What is that mystery car? No, Marias did make the pass. Okay, our timer was just being a little bit slow. That is going to be a pass for Marias now. Chai Guy is going to have to make the attack next to get back that second position on the podium. They do have a back marker driving with it. I think that is Nobius, yes. Nobius in the valve car. I now understand the confusion with Marias and Nobius having those similar looking green liveries. Chai Guy chasing down from the back. He should have that draft. It's all about the braking and throttle control, though. In these cars, you need to make the most of those corners because you'll always have power in the straights, but you need to maintain speed through the corners. Only 8 drivers remain from the 30 that began this race, with 5 minutes left on the clock here at Watkins Glen. The daytime has arisen. Racing into the sunrise, our drivers are fighting for podium positions here in the last 4.5 minutes. They make their way back down towards turn 1. Will any of them make use of the wide road? It looks like all are still deciding to remain with a conservative line, not wanting to lose control of the car at this stage of the race. Enter the bus stop chicane. Marias seems to be gaining pace as he slides out. 1970 there, not making a good exit. They are coming up on another car here as Shy Guy is making an attempt to catch up to Marias. They are still dealing with Nobius in between the two, breaking up the first place and second place positions. As they make their way back up the hill now from the bottom of the boot. The draft may be able to help Marias catch up behind Nobius, but Nobius is also putting the pressure on 1970, but it only seems to be making him drive faster. Shy Guy needs to make up some pace for that third position if he wants to get second and be one step closer to the top of that podium. As they dive into the last two turns here at Watkins Glen, let's see how they'll be able to manage the draft. Beautiful entry from Marias there. He's going to be able to chase down 1970 now as Nobius attempts to unlap himself. 1970 going for the defensive move as Marias moves back to the outside. 1970 returning to the racing line as he was clear to do so with the speed they were maintaining. They make their way up the hill towards the back straight. Marias is going to have the advantage here with the front runner being the back marker hitting the wall. Marias does have advantage with the draft though. Let's see what happens. Nobius really causing trouble for the two front runners today. But he is keeping great pace, so it's hard to argue that he can't unlap himself. As they make their way towards the bottom of the boot, will he be able to get the speed to make an attack? Nobius going all over the track, which can cause some chaos. Yep, there's a tap on the rear end. I can't say that that wasn't deserved. Nobius is a back marker. He needs to let them through so they can race. One minute and a half left on the clock. That means we are going to be arriving at our last laps. Let's take a look at the timings real quick. We see Sector 1, that 1970 is just a little bit faster. Sector 2 being nearly identical. It's going to come down to that Sector 3 for sure, but the best lap being from Marias so far in this race indicates he does have a chance to win this if he plays his cards right. And we'll go ahead and join him on the onboard for the chase as we aren't seeing Shy Guy anywhere in the rearview mirror anymore. This is going to be how the race ends in this last lap. Here we go towards the turn 1 entry with Marias' onboard camera. Looks like 1970 is going to make use of the wide line, and as you can see, there's going to be a red barrier there on the left. As long as he returns to the track, he may not be penalized, but I think he may have been too late. That could have been a track limits warning, which could be fatal. We have to take a look at the timings to make sure a penalty wasn't awarded yet, so he's still within his track limits warnings. But that definitely could have been the end of not only his first place, but possibly going down to third place and losing out on second if Marias was able to make the moves here at Watkins Glen in our final lap. You see that timer ticking down now with 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's going to be the white flag coming out now for our drivers. 1970 leading the pack ahead of Marias. Shy Guy not too far behind, but not close enough to make an attack and win a second place victory today. Comes down to these last few turns in Sector 3 as they enter the uphill. Marias really needs to be able to master those braking points in these last two turns if he wants a chance at the top of the podium. Going for the late braking. Can he get a good exit as well? If he uses that throttle, he can. A little late on the exit, but it wasn't as bad as 1970. He could get it here. He just needs... Yes! Yes! Let's see them coming down into the last two turns here at Watkins Glen in our open broadcast session of Automobilista 2 with Raccoon Racing Productions. 1970 seems to be leading the pack. Will Marias have the draft to be able to overtake him before the finish line? The exit is there. He's going to go ahead and get along side by side. Does he have the speed to take him before the finish line? That was a close finish from our drivers today at Watkins Glen. What an insane race from these two. I can't believe they were able to put on such an amazing show here at Watkins Glen in the finale. I haven't seen the race timer come out yet. We do need to make sure that was the end of race. I believe it was. I think the race is still going on. I can't tell from my angle. The drivers would have a different perspective. But based on their speed, I have to assume we should be done with this session. So I do think that is going to wrap it up today. As we saw, 1970 was the victor. I don't know why it's showing this. Mariah's falling behind with Chagai in third. I think they're realizing the race is still on as Chagai is now zooming forward. It is. I think the race is still going. And Chagai has realized this. He's going to go ahead and take the win if he keeps pushing. What is happening today here at Watkins Glen? What a mystery. 1970 has left the session, so I don't think this applies. The race should be over. And I think that means Chagai, by accident, takes the win. Unless Mariah decides he's going to do something in the last turn. That's it. That will do it. I'm going to go ahead and base it off of the original expected finish from both our drivers and from ourselves. 1970 definitely was the victor of that race. What a weird way to end. Well, congratulations to our drivers who made it to the end. Here comes Sigil, followed by Guzzler. And Ruby is somewhere on the track. Oh my gosh. We have entered the stage of the night where I am a sleepy commentator. I think with that will be the end of the Open Broadcast Session League sessions. I don't know if it's a league. I don't know why I'm calling it that, but the Open Broadcast Sessions produced by Raccoon Racing Productions here on twitch.tv and uploaded to youtube.com under Rack Racing. Thank you for joining us, and you all have a wonderful day, night, time, whatever it is. Like, follow, comment, subscribe, do whatever the social media things are.